Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmadu wa nasalli ala Rasuli Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The next line is about the Mi'raj of Rasulullah SAW, the ascension, the night journey in the ascension. The ascension is not mentioned, but by mentioning the night, the Isra, we understand all the other events and the chronology of the events, and where this part of the life of Rasulullah SAW fits in the chronology of the events of his life. أسري به وصلوات فرضت خمسا بخمسين كما قد حفظت. Now this is the previous slide that we did about the two marriages of Rasulullah SAW, and that after the age of 51 and the following year he was taken on a night journey, and salat was made fard 5 times in place of 50, as it is preserved, like it's preserved in the Sunnah. So the Prophet ﷺ, at a post his wife passing away, Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu anha, post his uncle Abu Talib passing away, and then the incident of Ta'if, the difficulties that he went through there, and Rasulullah SAW married twice in that period, and Rasulullah SAW is invited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and on the Buraq, I think all Muslims know the incident, we can read the details of it. Here is just to give you the chronology of the events so you know where these events fit. On the night, there's two parts of that journey. The Isra wal Mi'raj is generally called Isra wal Mi'raj. Isra is the night journey from Makkah Mukarramah to Baytul Maqdis or Jerusalem, Masjid al-Aqsa. Prophet ﷺ is invited, and he ﷺ on the Buraq in the company of Jibreel ﷺ goes to the Baytul Maqdis, leads all the Anbiya ﷺ in Salat. Then the second part of the journey, the Mi'raj, the ascension up to the heavens, occurs, and this is the special invitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this occurs in after the 51st year, meaning the 52nd year of the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 12 years approximately after his Nabuwah is announced, the first revelation is received. And he has to go through all these more than a decade of trials and difficulties and hardships, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invites him to himself. What is the gift? What is the daily thing that we have as Muslims that we hold dear? Is the 5 times salat. This beautiful gift of salat, the combination of all the worship of all the malaika. Some malaika are just sitting in tasbih, some malaika are just doing sajda, some malaika, the angels, are doing they're bowing, some are prostrating, some are in sajda, some are bowing. That's all they do, and that's how they spend their whole life and the existence, and there's no desire to do anything else except that, because they're created for that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala combined for us in the salat, and we know the incident how Rasulullah went back to Musa alayhi salam, back and forth, and through this journey the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went back and forth to Musa alayhi salam. The salat was reduced from 50 to 5, but the reward, the thawab, will remain the same. So if we pray 5 times salat, really fulfill its right, we'll get the reward of as though we prayed 50 salats. So that was the gift that is given to us. On that night, so many events happened. There are so many hadiths. So many things were shown to Rasulullah SAW. So many gifts were given to Rasulullah SAW. But the greatest gift that he brought back for his ummah till Qiyamah is the 5 times salat. There's a saying that it is a mi'raj of a mu'min. That is the connection that it is, because salat itself comes from the word sila, which means connection. So such a gift was brought back by Rasulullah SAW for his ummah. So that occurred in that year. After this, you can see that after this blessed encounter, meeting Allah, being in the company of Jibreel alayhi salam in the heavens, seeing him in his actual form, going to Sidratul Muntaha, meeting all the Anbiya alayhi salam, going to each sky, one heaven after another heaven after another heaven after another heaven, one sky above sky, meeting different prophets in each sky. So many events that occurred. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes into the world, and in this world, now some good news is coming for Deen and Islam. وَالْبَيْعَةُ الْأُولَى مَعَ 12 مِنْ أَهْلِ طَيْبَةَ كَمَا قَدْ ذُكِرَ. The first pledge was with 12 men from the people of Taiba, as is known. Taiba is one of the names of Medina Munawwara. At that time it's called Yathrib. Yathrib is the city of Medina. It was named, that Rasulullah changed to Medina Munawwara. So Al-Madina it means city, but Medina Munawwara is Madinatun Nabi, the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what happened was that a group of people, the kuffar, they used to have the mushrikeen of Makkah, they used to have Hajj. So they maintained certain rituals of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Tawaf was there, Sa'i was there, Kaaba was there, Mina, Araf, Muzdalifah, all these things used to exist. But they had corrupted it with idolatry. There was 360 idols, as well known, in the Kaaba and around the Kaaba and Safa and Marwa and so forth. And even all the rites of Hajj have been corrupted. So the Arabs used to come from all over Arabia to do Hajj, as Muslims do today. And this was something established by Ibrahim alayhi salam, but they corrupted with idolatry. So among Rasulullah SAW used to present himself to different tribes, give da'wah to them, hoping that they will become Muslim, hoping that they would accept Islam. And the people of Medina Munawwara, the future Medina Munawwara, one group of them, they recognized Rasulullah SAW the way as the Prophet of Allah. How they recognized? Because they had some information that the people of Makkah they did not have. That is that the Yahud, the Jews of Medina, used to they were telling them a prophecy. They had the prophecy of Rasulullah SAW that in Medina, that's the reason why they settled there, is they waiting for this messenger, this prophet. And lo and behold, they recognized, because they've been telling the Arabs in Medina that a prophet is going to come, and he's going to be from us, and we're going to fight all you Arabs and kill you all, along those lines. So they used to make threats like that and to the Arabs in Medina. And lo and behold, the Prophet ﷺ is not from them. The Prophet ﷺ is an Arab, and he's from Makkah Mukarramah. So when he gave them the da'wah, they recognized it straight away. No, this is what we've been told about. So they came forward, accepted Islam. Right? So how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranges everything. They accepted Islam. Then the next year 12 of them came, and they made a pledge. And a pledge is not a small thing. So it's called a bay'atul ula or bay'atul aqabatul ula, because Aqaba is the place. So when you go for Hajj, you do the stoning, the pelting of jamarat with pelt the shaitan. Those three places, the last one is called the one you pass, the first one, the middle one, and the last one. The last one, which is closest to the Kaaba, it's 7 kilometers away, but it's in the direction of the Kaaba, the closest one. That one is called Bay'atul Aqaba. Just when you go down, nowadays they have a ramp. If you go down the ramp, on the right side, you'll see an old structure. It's a 1200-year-old structure, and it's fenced off. That is the place where the Rasulullah met them and made pledge with them. It's called that place called Aqaba. That area there around the last Jamarat is the Aqaba. That's what's called Jamratul Aqaba or Jamratul Kubra. So they made the pledge, and the pledge was, of course, about deen, not to do zina, not to do, as mentioned in the hadith, that not to, it's in Surah Mumtahina, it's the bay'ah of Nisa actually they did, because there's no fighting in that time. After that, all the bay'ahs, if you look at it, there were bay'ahs of life and death, pledges of allegiance, right? So they made the bay'ah to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The next year they came, which is the next slide. So 12 people accepted from 2 tribes of Medina Munawwara, the Aws and the Khazraj. Both these tribes became Muslim, and a buzz started from the previous year and this year in all the houses of Medina Munawwara, and people started accepting Islam, and people started. So the next year, وبعد 52 أتى 70 في الموسم هذا ثبتا. After his age was 52, there came 70 during the Hajj season, as it is established. After his age was 52, so he was 52 plus, so more than a period has passed, another year has passed, there came the next Hajj, 70 during the Mawsim. The Mawsim, until now it's called the Mawsim, the season of Hajj, the months of Hajj. After Ramadan is the months of Hajj. In the time, in the Hajj season, there came 70 from the Ansar and the Khazraj. The Aws and Khazraj, who were to become the Ansar. Remember, there's 2 main categories of Muslims, of the Sahaba radhiyallahu anhum. They're basically broadly put into 2 categories. Either you're from the Ansar, the helpers, or you're Muhajirin, the immigrants. The people from Makkah Mukarramah, like Abu Bakr and Umar and Usman, all the early Sahaba, these are all Muhajirin. We had the hijrahs to Habasha, Ethiopia, 2 hijrahs, but the hijrah of Rasulullah, the main hijrah that we talk about, from which our calendar started, is the hijrah of is the Muhajirin, when Rasulullah SAW and Sahaba of Makkah made hijrah to Medina Munawwara. And that hijrah, so the people who did that are called muhajirun. The people who are in Medina Munawwara, who are known as the helpers or the supporters, they are the Ansar, the people of Medina. And what they did was they made a pledge, and this pledge was for life and death. They were ready, they recognized the truth of Rasulullah SAW, they accepted him, and they're also ready to take all the risks which they were just about to face. They knew what was going to happen. They knew they got it. They know what they're getting themselves, what a risk they're taking, because they're going to turn. All the Arabs are going to turn against them. Here's a small town. The big Quraysh is going to turn against them. All the Arab tribes, and that's what happened. Badr, Uhud, Khandaq. If you go all through it, for the next how many years, they had to fend off all these hostile forces surrounding them, within them, outside of Medina Munawwara. So these are the people. On these people's sacrifices, Medina Munawwara is where our Prophet ﷺ's resting place is. It's a place that we all love and is dear to us. The Ansar are dear to us because they're the ones that came forward. Nobody would come forward. Even the Quraysh wouldn't come forward. And the people of Ta'if didn't come forward. And in that time, and none of these people were ready to take Rasulullah ﷺ. And how many years? More than a decade, Rasulullah tried and was humiliated and insulted and disrespected, and Sahaba were killed and so forth. Here people come and they're ready. They said, we are ready with our life and we'll die for this deen. That's it. In a very short amount of time, the Ansar lived up to their name. They were ready to fight everybody. They said, we know war and we know how to fight. So if these people are, if anybody dares, so they took a person, an outsider, Rasulullah SAW, in a very tribalistic era and time, took an outsider, made him their leader. He was their Nabi, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but made him the leader, made him the head of their society, and gave their leadership and everything over to him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And they basically to an outsider, and they accepted the deen wholeheartedly, and they ready to sacrifice all their wealth, all their life. And that is why the Ansar, they hold a dear place in our heart. Medina holds, because so many sacrifices were done. And that's why Medina Munawwara became the markaz, the center for the spreading of Islam all over the world. Allah chose that place, and Allah chose the people of that place, and they are the ones that gave the Rasulullah SAW, that to the point that Rasulullah SAW said, and many hadiths about the virtues of the people of Medina Munawwara and the people of the Ansar specifically. He said, if people take a path in a way, a valley, and the Ansar take a path, I'll be with them. And said everybody else is like the outer garments, and the Ansar are like the inner garments, meaning they're much more closer to me. So they earned the love of Rasulullah SAW. Not that just they protected Rasulullah SAW, they earned they were loyal to him till the end, and he was loyal to them. Hence, he went back to, even after the conquest of Makkah, Rasulullah SAW didn't relocate in Makkah Mukarramah. He went back to Medina Munawwara to express and show his loyalty to the people of Medina, and stayed there until he passed away, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah give us the tawfiq to appreciate what the Muhajirin and what the Ansar did. The next part, of course, is the Hijrah, because now that a new place is established, a center where Islam is spread into every house of a society, not in his own home, but in somewhere far away, there Rasulullah SAW will now, by the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be leaving, and he'll be going to move and relocate and settle in this new city that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed with hidayah. May Allah give us understanding and tawfiq to practice. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.